Okay, here we are in chapter 5.5, decimal division. This is where we do a little learning. This is something new for us. And I'm going to just look at the story problem that they have at the beginning of chapter 5.5 on page 219. So here it is. If you need to look it up, and do it with me. Leah is making a reusable shopping bags, and she has 3.6 yards of fabric, so she has 3.6 yards of fabric, and she needs 0.3 yards to make one bag for each bag. So we're going to divide 3.6 by 0.3, and we're going to see what happens. First of all, we need to remember that if I were to take the decimals out and I just took 36 divided by 3, I'd get 12. Okay, so we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at how could we get 12 as an answer. 12 happens to be bigger than 3.6 or 0.3, and I want you to think about that, because when you divide using decimals, your answer gets bigger. It's when you divide by something smaller than 1, your answer gets bigger. So when you divide by something bigger than 1, it gets smaller. When you divide by 1, it's the same. For instance, if we just took 36 divided by 3, we'd get 12. If we took 36 divided by 1, we'd have 36. So now if we divide by something larger than 1, which is this 3, we get a smaller number. 12 is smaller than 36. If we divide by 1, we get the same thing. And if I were to divide 36 by 0.1, I would actually get 360. You could use a calculator to check me out on that, but when you divide, well, you could see the multiplication of 360 times 0.1 equals 36. When you divide by numbers smaller than 1, your answer actually gets bigger. So that's lesson number 1, so we don't be surprised when that happens. And then we have to be able to do it using a model for this lesson. We'll go ahead and use regular long division later, and we'll figure out what to do with that. But we're going to use models for this lesson, and we do that all the time, and this helps us understand or learn the concept a little better. Okay, so it really is that we're looking at 3.6 divided by 0.3. And if we were to take our model of 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, 0.6 means that I have 6/10ths, and these are our 10th models, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to divide it by 0.3. Alright, so it means I'm going to take 3/10ths away. Alright, so if I were to take this group right here, that's 3/10ths. Okay, so that's like once. It's like one shopping bag. And if I took these 3, that's 3/10ths. So that's another shopping bag. Now I have to break these up. So I take this 10 and I break it up into, or this 1, and I break it up into, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces, and I start taking it by 3s again. There's 3, make another bag. Now, these marks over here, they're not tenths, they're bags. So, maybe I should, how do I label these so that you guys understand? We're making reusable shopping bags. And it takes 1/3, or 3/10ths, takes 3/10ths of 1 yard to make one. And so we're splitting our yards into tenths, and we're taking them out one by one. So let's see, look here, I do this again. These 3 make another bag. So I'm just going to label them a bunch of B's. These 3 make another bag. So I'm up to 6 bags already. Now I still have 1 here, but I'm going to turn this into tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have 11 here. If I take it 3 at a time, another bag, 3 at a time, another bag, 3 at a time, another bag. Okay, and now I have 2 left, and I can't that's not enough, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this up too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. right, so now I've got 1, 2, 3. These ones get together to make another bag. These 3 get together to make another bag. These 3. Oh, that's only 2. That's a little hard. It's hard to make it look right. Sometimes you miss something. There's 2 up here and 1 down here. So these 3 get together to make another bag. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 reusable bags that I've made out of my fabric. So that's 12 shopping bags. That's a little strange, and it's harder to draw the pictures than it is just to do regular long division, but it helps us to think about it. All right, so let's do another one on page 220. They're showing us models here on 220, and the model is always the hardest part. So that's what we have to work on. So it looks like Julie has $1.75 in nickels. Whoops. $1.75 in nickels, and she wants to make stacks of 25 cents. How many stacks of 25 cents could she make? So she's going to divide by 0.25. Okay. And let me pause. I'm going to go get a little model for you real quick. Pause. Okay, so I'm gonna copy. I'm gonna paste the grid. I think that's not working. Maybe I go File, Edit. Oh, it's not letting me paste. I have to pause again. Okay, here it is. This is the image. All right, and I've got 1.75. And I have, all right, so if I take a look at this, divide by 25s. First I have got to mark out my 1 and 75 hundredths. All right, so if I just take this kind of gross color, all of this is 1. This is 1 whole. This is 100 hundredths. That's that part. Now 7/10 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 70. But I also need 5 hundredths, so we'd have to like mark off this amount. So I should have marked off, there we go. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 75 hundredths. We're not counting any of this over here. So this is 1 and 75 hundredths. Okay, I think that makes sense to you. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take either scissors and cut them apart, or we're going to do use colors. All right, so it might be that I'm going to give you some of these pages that have these on it at school, and we'll do it that way. But this is 175 hundredths, or 1 whole and decimal 75 hundredths. We're going to cut them into 25 hundredths pieces. So if I go like this and I color in, that's 10, 20, 5. Okay, that's 25 hundredths. So I'm dividing by 25 hundredths. I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to go 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 25 hundredths. And I'm just going to keep on moving. 10, 20, and you know how many times 25 goes into 100. It goes in 4 times. So I should have 4 of these like changes in color. 10, 15, 25. Alright, so you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times that 25 goes into 100. And we already knew that. 25 hundredths goes into 100 4 times. And then we're going to be able to do this once. This is 10, 20, 25, change colors again, 10, 20, 25, change colors one more time. It looks like it's going to work out exactly, which we should have known anyway. 10, 20, 25. So this is 5, 6, and 7. So we have 7 groups of 25 hundredths that go into 175. So the answer is 7. So if we would have 7 stacks of 25 cents of nickels, if that makes any sense at all. $1.75 divided into little piles of 25 cents, so there'll be 5 nickels in each pile. But we're just counting 25 cents, so we're using hundreds. 10, 20, 25, 10, 20, 25, 10, 20, 25. We just keep on counting it up that way. You can see that we've got 7 stacks of nickels. So that's what's gonna happen. And I know that sometimes these models are actually harder, but they're important, and we got to practice them. So let's do one more. 1 divided by 0.5. So 1 divided by 5/10. That shouldn't be that hard. So if we put our little model out here again, and then we just start saying, well, 5/10 is 1. That's 1/10. It's also 10 hundredths, 2/10, 3, 4, 5, and then change colors. Looks like Christmas now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 2 groups of 5/10 that we can get out of one whole. So the answer is 2. And if we were to go backwards and multiply 2 times 0.5, we would get 1. 2 times 5 is 10, but since it's 0.5, it ends up having a decimal right there. Hold that decimal place out, and that is the same as 1.0. All right, that's 3 examples. That last one was a simple one, but some of yours are just as simple. I'm going to give you the models to use at school. You can print them off the internet yourself if you look for it. I just Google 10 by 10 grid, and you can paste that onto a Word document or somewhere and print it out a bunch of times. Otherwise, I'll have it for you. Anyway, you guys have a great afternoon, evening, whatever you got going on. Good luck.